Hello and welcome back to the Rangers Rabble. We're back and the intro is back after a bit of a calamity at half time. Um, Please like and subscribe as always. And as always, we are sponsored by Zenith Coins as Ross munches into his corn on the cob. um, Sponsored by Zenith Coins, RR10 at the checkout will get you 10% off. I am joined by Ross and his corn on the cob. Ross, how are you?
All good, mate. All good.
Graham, back again. How are you?
All good, mate. All good.
And joined on the post match with the ever present JD. How you doing, my man?
I was watching. I tuned into the wee bit at half time in the pre-match. It's hopeless, man. That's why I'm on here. Sorry, Ross, see when I call him the cooperate, mate. I'm getting Van roast things.
You know, use a corn and a cob as a toothbrush.
Wow, start as we means go on then, shall we? No, I know. Let's get out early. JD's only going to be talking about Matondo today because that's all he was talking about in the comments earlier. So, Nicholas Moore, I'm sorry, but this is what you're going to get from him.
Stu,
I didn't think he was that bad.
do you want to see JD's face every time Matondo got on the ball?
Welcome to everyone in the comments. Get all your comments in. We'll bring a few up on the screen and just seeing what people are saying. Ridvan is a better footballer. Cholak, second goal's a belter. Agree. What else we got? Going to be a bit positive. Wow. Hey, hopefully there's always something. There's always a chance. So we'll jump in then. We'll start with you, Graham, because me and Ross discussed a little bit. Me and Ross discovered a little bit at half time. So, we obviously discussed on the pre-match about the team, but perfect start. 4 minutes in, Borna Barisic. Me and Ross were just saying how much is to actually see him have a shot when it opened up from him in that position. We know how good his left foot is, so it was good to see that. I thought it was in off the post and just the instinct of Cholak to even be in that area when Barisic is shooting to tap it in. It was just absolute quality.
Mate, it's a proper goal scorer's goal. He started the play as well, receiving the ball and then passing it out to Barisic, which was great to see considering the way he set up his goal last week as well, and then following it in. A great shot for Barisic. I would love to see him do that more often when he gets in the positions because he has got a good shot on him. So it was a great start and great to see Cho. I love the way he celebrated as well, like showing that kind of passion and aggression, which to me kind of signalled to Van Bronckhorst, look, you can't drop me. I want to play every game. So I like to see that as well. And then obviously he goes on and gets a second goal, which we'll talk about later on.
Yeah, JD, I mean, just it's that movement Cholak has more than anything. Like not just movement when to get in the right position to score a goal, but even that movement, the anticipation that Barisic is shooting from here, but there's every chance it can spill out, and it was a quick reaction as well because it comes out. I thought it just hit him and went in, but he actually moves the leg towards it. It's almost like he was expecting it.
No. Big man was brilliant. Sorry, folks. He was different class, isn't he? Listen, I've always thought that Morelos will come right back in, or Morelos is my number one striker, and I'm still saying Morelos will play in Europe. I changed my tune now. I don't think he will. I think Cholak's got to play every game, and like Graham's saying, we're all a bit disappointed he keeps taking him off when he's on a high, but if it's going to protect him before he plays on Tuesday, then that's the reason why. But what a player, by the way. He's I know he was good against us, right? He's better than I thought. Even against us, he was brilliant for Malmo. He's better than I thought. Hands up, man. I'm not still full on Ross Clark mode, but he is better than I thought, and his finishing's unreal, unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely, Ross. And I mean, just it's a bit frustrating that we've taken. Just leave me in charge of these, though. It's a bit annoying that it's taken so long to go and find someone like Cholak. I think he's just turned 29, and it's just a shame we couldn't have got him in a bit earlier, really.
Those of us who know football have been telling you from the start, this guy is a better striker than Morelos. This guy is a better striker than Morelos, and folk tell me he can't do the link up, he can't bustle defenders, he doesn't do all the argy bargy that Morelos does. mate, he is a better striker than Alfredo Morelos. Said it for the start, just his movement, how clever he is. That's 2 weeks in a row he's dropped deep, set up, played a crisp ball to the winger, and he's the first person in the box. Listen, yeah, Rostradamus, mate, I know these things. Just stick with me. The rest of these will catch up. That's how it is here.
It is worth mentioning, though, in that link-up play you talk about, it actually come from him taking a heavy touch and almost losing the ball. And it was more of a tackle that then got the ball out to Borna Barisic. But you get the breaks, eh? You get the breaks when you're a good player, so that's all that matters. Then moving on, Graham. I thought it was a bit lackadaisical to start with. I thought even after the goal, we weren't that quick in our build-up. But that certainly improved as the first half went on. But we were never really troubled in the first half. I thought Davis and Goldson were both absolutely fine again at the back. It was sort of a first half that it went by in a flash without too much happening. Me and Ross spoke earlier about some nice little touches from Sakala. But one thing I did notice is when we talk about us going backwards a lot, which obviously frustrates us so much. I know whenever Barisic turns back, you hear the crowd instantly. But there was a moment in the first half, and you might not remember it, but Sakala had a lovely little shimmy, 1-2 on his feet, passed it to Lundstrom, who immediately went backwards, and the crowd immediately got on. But then Jack immediately swung this ball first time out to the net for Barisic to run onto, and all of a sudden the crowd got behind him. And it just goes to show that going backwards isn't the problem. If you go backwards with intent, with a purpose of going forwards again, then that can add to your attack. But obviously, too many times we go backwards just for the sake of it.
Yeah, I think it always comes to being a partner. We always talk about this, the horseshoe. It always seems to be the pattern that kind of kills us. But like you say, when you pass it back, then to go fast forward, that's how the kind of modern teams do it. And if we see that, then the fans will understand. And then you move the defence kind of out of position when they kind of come up a wee bit, and then you try and get in behind. So I don't mind it when it is the right decision. But obviously, when it's the wrong decision, that's when the fans got on the back. But the only kind of point I was going to make about in the first half, there was one moment when Barisic and Davies get caught. They were kind of marking the same person, and then I think it was their fullback got a chance. It became a soft head and an easy save from McGregor, but that was the only kind of moment I noticed when they had a chance, really.
Yeah, and I mean, just talking on the defence and JD, I mean, the only one I actually noted down was it was a bit of a poor clearance from Goldson out by the touchline. Come back in. Davis dealt with it. McGregor was scrambling a little bit, but it was never, when the shed flew on the door, it's never going in. But it's sort of incremental steps, isn't it? It's the defence is looking a bit more structured. The team is playing with a bit more purpose, and it's not, we're not going to go from 0 to 100. It's not baby steps, but it's moving in the right direction.
I think David. I think the defence has looked stronger since Davies has come in. I think since Davies has come in, it's shored up Goldson as well. Goldson looks better now with Davies beside him. No slate and sands, but I don't know. Davies looks proper defender, doesn't he? He looks really good on the ball, nice left foot. So it just looks a lot better. I thought Tav played really well today again. He must have nicked that ball about 5 or 6 times. By the way, St Mirren are an head side. They're one of the better sides in the SPL, I think. Comfortable top 6 this season, I think. So they were all right, but they didn't really. There's not much. They never really caused us any problems. I still don't think we have got an identity or anything like that, unless it is this horseshoe thing. I still think this is hard. We won 4-0, so I'll happy with that every game. But I still didn't really enjoy watching this a lot of the time today because it's still really slow and it lacks a bit of purpose. But when we get going, like we see when we scored the goals, that's what we're good at. Why we don't do it more? Like, we don't take risks on the fullbacks going forward in respect of if Borner's get the ball. Previously, when he's going forward, he would look and he'd go, okay, maybe put it into space or maybe take a man on. Now you can tell that him and Tav have been told not to do that. If nothing definite's on, you just come back. And that's the massive difference, I think. You see, if we're a team, we don't take risks or express ourselves going forward from the fullback positions that we used to do.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to bring this one to Ross because I want to ask you two about the penalty because Ross has already discussed it. We've got our own Nostradamus in the comments somewhere, if I can find it.
Tory Munster saying Tav was not great at all today.
Yeah, I see someone else say
he was watching.
I've seen a couple of comments say that about Tav. I'm never going to
He
find
won the
this
ball
now.
back about 6 or 7 times coming across the park when St Mirren were breaking, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So Ross, another Nostradamus to try and take your crown here. Cholak will win Rangers the league if he stays injury free. What do you think about that?
Told you on day one I made a bet with a guy on here who I hope will stick to it for the Rangers charity foundation that Cholak would score more goals than Morelos, and I said that for day dot, and I hope that guy's already stumped up his 20 quid because it's a foregone conclusion. After 8 or 9 games, Cholak's
Double figures.
he's more or less scored half of what Morelos has ever scored in a season. So Cholak is going to give us the best chance of winning the league. I believe, as I've said a million times, even just today, we're a better football team than Celtic when we play our game. So
Yeah,
I think playing our game, the game we played today that suits him, then he's going to score. Wouldn't it surprise me if he scores 35 goals this season?
yeah. Every single chance of that happening. And I want to touch on Morelos later, which we'll come to because of obviously he is involved in the game when he comes on. So Graham, this is about the time in the game where I had my second power cut of the day. Just in time for the penalty, so missed the penalty completely. I can only go what Ross was saying. Stonewall penalty for you?
It is now that I've seen it a second and third time, but at first I generally thought the defender cleared it in the live action. But when you look at it back, it's a definite penalty for me.
And what about you, JD? Same thoughts?
I think when you see it first, you're a bit like, what was kind of that? Like you think he wins the ball. It looks like he comes across and wins the ball, but actually it's not. Cholak takes it in his right side, and kind of takes a wee touch. And then Gallagher's so late. So it's one of these ones where you sometimes don't see them because the ball's kind of away and it's kind of off the play. It's not where the ball is, but it's a definite penalty for me. There's no question about it. I don't think any of the Moonhowlers can even question that once you look at it.
Can I just add something as well? See, that was Rangers TV today, but the replays, you don't really see a good replay to make your definite mind up. So I'm quite worried about when VAR comes in, but how the quality of the replays are going to be.
That's a good point. But see, just on Rangers TV, right? Tom commentator, man, I'm telling you, swear to God, he called Robbie Matondo and John Lundstrap. I swear to fuck, I was honestly turning it after that second half. Robbie Matondo and John Lundstrap.
He said Sakala as well, and it was Matondo a couple of times.
Ah, fucking hopeless.
That's my nothing.
He does that with Lundstrom and someone else as well. I can't remember who it is, but he always says Lundstrom, and it's like never Lundstrom on the ball. So we get in 2-0 half time. As I said, I had a bit of a power cut, so jump in if anything else interesting happened. Second half, same team. We're expecting that. We get out, just controlling the game, not trying to let St Mirren in early, which I think is sort of Gio's method, isn't it? He doesn't want to. He won't go full blast first or second half. He wants to sort of feel it out and not give up too many chances. But then JD's favourite player, Ross Matondo, 56 minutes, gets the ball out wide, cuts in and crashes an effort off the post. And the one thing with Matondo, I mean, most aren't going to like what he's done so far. A few will. But I have noticed, and we noticed this in pre-season, he does seem capable of shooting from distance. So maybe it's an option going forward if he does get on the left that we see this sort of more efforts from him.
I think Matondo done okay. I didn't think he done anything spectacular, but I don't think he was as bad as JD will make out he was. I don't think he was that bad. As you say, see that on another day that shot goes in. On another day, you need to remember when we got Ryan Kent, he was running about that age, and he took a while to settle. And then by the time the end of the season came, we wanted to sign him. So we've got this boy. We've spent the dough on him. Kent's not performing. Kent came on the second half and never done anything again. So, what is the other option? I think the boy Matondo deserves a few games because let's be honest, you've gave Kent the last 12 months when he's not been performing.
How can he deserve? What's he done to deserve it? The only reason he deserves it is because Kent's pish. So he's not done anything to deserve it. But I do agree that I think he starts. He starts now because he was all right today. He wasn't even all right. He didn't do anything, but he didn't really do anything wrong. So,
But at 22, JD, is it maybe a bit harsh to say this guy's come in? It's his first full 90 minutes, or not in full 90 minutes, but first start really from the left hand side, his favourite position. Is it not a bit unfair to say you've got to go out and do something today, otherwise you're never going to play there?
No, it's not unfair at all because that's my opinion. So that's my opinion. Listen, I've got his cards marked. I would love him to change my mind, and I'll happily come on here and the anything want as a forfeit. But from an attacking player, we need to see more. It was the ground. Listen, if nobody wants to admit this, right? Because sometimes people just don't like to, but it was on that ground more than anything else today. He needs to sort that out. He needs to be a wee bit more robust. I'd actually know what. I thought Ridvan looked more dangerous going forward for the last 15 minutes when he came on than Kent or Matondo have in the last 6 months or the last 2 months. So maybe he's an option we could try. We may as well try that. We've tried everything else.
Thank you with that, man. But Ridvan's coming for left back, so he's not getting marked by a defender. He's the free man that's been dragged inside. JD, I don't know. I just think if it's exactly what you're saying. I don't think Kent's done something to lose it. I don't think Matondo has. So it's not that he deserves it. It's that he deserves it a wee bit more than Kent.
Yeah.
The two of them have got equally as bad hair, which obviously me and JD will comment on because we've got the best hair in the rabble.
Yeah, I mean, I want to put that to Graham because Graham is knows Matondo, watches Matondo a bit in German football. You've sort of warned when we signed Matondo, Graham. I mean, you were saying in the chat you were a bit worried about him because he does sort of flatter to deceive at times. Just like JD saying, like Ross is saying. I mean, are we not noticing some of the other bits he does, like actual dragging defenders away? People worried about Matondo's pace, so they two up on him every single time. That was allowing Barisic to get a lot of room down the left hand side.
Graham, tell us about him because you've watched him before he played with Rangers, so you weren't watching him with red, white, and blue tinted specs on. You told us.
I said in the group chat when we signed him, and everybody was kind of going, "Oh, this guy's lightning bolt, so he's rapid. He's got to do this. He's got to do that." I've seen him for Man City Academy and Schalke a few times, and his best isn't much better than what he done today. And again, I'd love to be proved wrong. Also, I want to see every Rangers player play amazing and contribute to league titles and stuff like that. But I don't get excited about him at all. He might have he'll have a day where he'll maybe score 2 or something like that, and he'll look good. But then he'll go 5, 6, 7 games without doing nothing. So it's hard to get excited about him, to be honest. But I'd try Ridvan or something like that. And I said in the group chat today, I'm looking forward to Lowry coming back and Lawrence. Because I'd rather see kind of narrow behind Sholak rather than rely on the width for your Barisic and Tav. Because I don't think we've got proper wingers that is going to provide the width that we want.
Yeah, and then sort of a few minutes after he hits the post, Ross, he actually he gets hooked. Him and Ben Davies. Ben Davies is a bit of a stranger. I get he's coming back from a bit of an injury, and we're trying to sort of nurse people through a little bit. But is it not strange that Davies couldn't manage more than an hour today?
Is it the fact that Davies can't have more than an hour, or is it more to do with a hybrid of Davies coming back from injury, with games coming thick and fast, plus the chance to get young Leon King on the park again? I'm not going to complain about that, because the more minutes, as I've said to you before, we can get into King, McCann and Lowry this season, the better for me. Especially like that, if you're coasting, then get them on, get them used to the place, because I think next season will be a big season for Leon King, so as many minutes as he can get this year.
Yeah, that was the one positive, I guess, with Davies coming off. If it's for Leon King, I don't think anyone minds too much. So JD Matondo comes off, Ryan Kent comes on. Sort of 5 minutes later, Kent dilly-dallies on the ball on the left-hand side and loses it. St Mirren get forward. They put a ball over, and it's sort of just Tab in the box marking a guy. He sort of mistimes the jump, and it sort of lands at the back post, and there's a Mirren lad all on his own, and it ends up being a good save from McGregor, but just a bit of a worry from the culmination of the defence sort of out of position, but Kent losing the ball high up.
I think it looked at times that we smelt blood today, and everybody wanted to score. Like, you seen Goldson was up a wee bit, trying to go up, and Ryan Jack was in positions that he just shouldn't have been in. And it made us a bit disjointed at times, but it looked like we all were getting a bit excited and wanted to score goals. So maybe that was a part to play in it. Like, I thought McGregor played well because we don't dominate the ball as much as I would like us to. So teams get chances against us. Even we have chances, get balls into the box against us. I thought McGregor handled everything brilliantly today again. Like, he's starting to come out his box, come off his line a wee bit more, which we're not used to seeing. So maybe it's just been a bit, I don't know, a confidence thing or getting back to basics for him. But he's looked sure again today, and they have chances. They had a couple of half chances against us. So, aye.
Yeah, I mean, even some of his distribution with his feet. Usually, you see him just pump them up the field, and he was doing some nice little pass outs to players under pressure, which he wouldn't usually do. So that was good to see. Ross Sakala was having a great game today. I thought we mentioned at half time. We thought he was we mentioned at half time that he was technically a lot better than we've seen in recent weeks. But he gets the ball sort of centre of the pitch, just leaves two men for absolute dead as he comes inside, and it's a lovely little through ball to Cholak, which I've never seen Sakala make so many accurate passes as he has today. But yeah, Cholak, I'm thinking pull the trigger, and he just cuts inside instead. Mirren player goes across, sort of on his way for a hot dog almost, and then outside of the boot finish, right into the far corner. Just sums him up as a man. Like, what a striker!
Unbelievable. Everybody thought that he was going to sweep it in the near post with his right foot, and then he just, give me a Ute, Megged. And he goes. Then, listen, that finish with the outside of the boot that's not an easy finish, but it shows how confident the guy is. I wanted to come in, Stu, about the McGregor thing. I've obviously been quite critical of the fact Alan McGregor is back being our number one goalkeeper, but if anything, what I would say is exactly what we're saying about Kent and Goldson and players like that. See a wee bit of time out the team, and then they come back and they've all of a sudden got a point to prove. That can be the making of people, know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I think we do see that all over, and I think that's why so many people wanted Kent dropped, to be honest. Maybe just to rediscover that fire in his belly a little bit. So Graham, the game starts to peter. Actually, the one note I did make at this point was we did start to look a little bit leggy at this point, I thought. And it might have been like we were saying there, that we were just trying to get men forwards, score more goals. But we were a bit vulnerable on the counter at times. Curtis Main gets the ball a bit sloppy on the edge of the box, and he hit a ball that I thought was going rosette at first, and out of nowhere it sort of crashes off of McGregor's bar. But not long after that, we sort of fire the ball into Morelos, who hadn't had much to feed off up until that point. And you know what Morelos is like. He's always desperate for a goal. So I'm thinking he's going to try and shoot from 30 yards. But instead, almost like Modric in his prime, slips a lovely little ball through to Sakala. And, I mean, a great finish as well from Sakala, just to cap off an all-round fantastic performance for him. But I think both of them deserve massive plaudits for that one.
Yeah, it was good link-up play. It was something I was saying when I was watching it, that too much we go wide and just put balls into the box. I like seeing us try to play through the middle, and I think we can get more goals like that, especially if we've got like Sakala and kind of going direct towards goal rather than try to stick out wide outside the box. So it was great to see him get his goal, and hopefully that gives him a bit of confidence to go along with that performance, and especially in the second half. I thought it was really good. A few nutmegs and running at people, and that was good to see. And I just wanted to say a wee bit on the Cholak goal. Just it reminded me a wee bit of, remember Bergkamp's goal?
Newcastle. Yeah.
They worked for Holland in '98.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah.
Outside the boot finish. So it was a great finish. I loved it, and I actually jumped off the chairs to celebrate it. So it was good to see a wee bit of excitement in that. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, really good finish. I mean, both of them sort of they came on at the same. It was good, nice to see sort of two different finishes there, isn't it? Because Cholak and Sakala both sort of approached the goal from the same angle, and one's gone outside of the boot, one's used his weaker foot to curl it in. But yeah, two really good finishes. So Ross, 4-0. Your score prediction come in. So if there was a Super Six for Scotland, you'd be right up there right now, but there's not, so you're not. Overall, got to be pretty happy. As I said, incremental steps, getting better. There was a bit more structure there today, and just starting to look a bit more like Rangers again.
I think as we said, the 2 weeks in the international break to look at what was going wrong the first 6 games of the season, and I think that he is starting to implement changes that are addressing that. I don't think we were going forward quick enough. We were talking about our best attacking force as our 2 wing backs, and we had hampered them. So I think, to be fair to Van Bronckhorst, I think he has managed to find a tweak, because Juventus beat Hearts and St Mirren 4-0 and 4-0. The question is, does he keep playing like this? Because when you go to Europe, I would rather us play like that and get beat 3 or 4-0 in the Champions League as just hang on and manage to scrape a 2-0. I would rather we just went and played our own game. I'd rather we went and played like that on Wednesday night, whereas I fear that we won't play like that.
But why not? Because we've done it in the Europa. Like, I don't understand the difference. It's like, because it's the Champions League now, but it's just, I know that the level is a bit higher, but Dortmund last year, they were still a great side.
Yep.
Maybe if Haaland was playing, it would be different, but we went at these teams. It's annoying. It's kind of frustrating that we perhaps don't do that.
But is it not down to a little bit of... We did go at Dortmund away, admittedly, but we didn't go at many teams away from home apart from that. Whereas at Ibrox, we would bring them back, and the atmosphere last season, I've not seen anything like it. It was absolutely outrageous. And it almost, I think, spurred the team on a lot of the time. And I'm hoping that when we play Liverpool at Ibrox, we're going to see a team that are much more up for it. And I don't think Liverpool will be as open and attacking as they are, because I don't think the fans really let you do that. They're on you every touch. And even for a top team, it's really hard to play against when they're like that. But I just wanted to bring this...
on that a minute?
Of course you can.
See, what I think is kind of a problem for me this year and why we don't play like that, I don't see the same fitness in the players to kind of constantly press, constantly attack, up and down the wing, constantly in that. So, again, it goes back to me, what did we do in pre-season? Because I definitely don't see the same fitness in the players. And like you said today, after we kind of went 3 and 4-0 up, you could see that some of the players are a wee bit leggy as well.
Can I just jump on that, because it's something that I've said in a couple of the last pods. I know a lot of people maybe didn't want to hear it today, but I don't think John Lundstram looks fit. I think he looks a bit leggy. He looked good in the first half. I don't think he had a good game in the second half, and he got man of the match today, which I thought, Scotland Smith, what the fuck does he know, right? But I thought he looked. I don't think Lundstram's not like Tav and Goldson don't ever get rotated or taken out. I don't want it to come to the point where Lundstram's one of those guys, because we've got players that can play in that position. Mm-hmm. And if that's take Lundstram off today. I know he wasn't in the bench. Take Lundstram off with 10 minutes to go and get Charlie McCann out. That's what we should be doing, because they're the future and we need to plan for that kind of thing. I don't think Lundstram's had a good season at all. I thought it was good in the first half today was the best I've seen him, I think, this season, perhaps. But in the second half, I thought he looked tired, he looked leggy, and I thought he should have come off at one point. Ryan Jack today was probably our best. I thought Arfield struggled a wee bit today. Arfield's not played well the last couple of games as well. I do like Arfield.
90 minutes again. Did he get 90 minutes, in fact?
He did get 9 minutes, yeah.
Strange again. So hopefully we won't see him in the next game.
This is like all stuff I want to come to, because there's so much to talk about still. There was a couple of things I want to make. So first off, I've only got a little snippet of what Gio said so far. They haven't put through any more. He's just said the most pleasing thing, of course, always is the 3 points. The intention we showed today from the first minute to the last minute was very positive. Cholak started well. The first goal showed his ability to be proactive rather than reactive. You want to make sure your front line is always dangerous. Fashion Sakala had a really good game. It's a real short snippet. So we can't see if he's contradicted himself at all in that. But
what's his face?
Just as I've said that, more has come through. So I'll Let me just expand
No,
on
do
it.
it in a Geo voice, please. You're not just sitting there reading it out.
The most pleasing thing, of course, always is no. I can't do a Geo voice. I can't.
That was
Can't do
That
that.
was fucking terrible, man.
Actually,
Sorry.
for that.
I'll never do it again. No, the most pleasing thing, of course, always is the 3 points. The intention we showed today from the first minute to last minute very positive. The most important thing was to start with a lot of pressure on them and try to score the early goal. That helped us throughout the 90 minutes. Chodak started well. Yeah, we read that bit. And then Liverpool on Wednesday is a big test. Of course, we have to have a different approach. We need to have something out of that game. Ross, what do you make of that?
The first goal showed Cholak is proactive rather than reactive. It's the most reactive goal I've ever seen in my life. Comes off a post and that's exactly what he does, reacts to it. What? Listen, I think the guy's done well the last 2 league games. I need to give him that.
No, I think so.
The soundbite about
Ross's trying notice slag Geo here. His body just couldn't do it.
This I know I've got a twitch in my eye and everything. The sound bite that he's gave us about we need something different through the week tells me that it's going to be a hit on the counter again, isn't it? It's going to be a sit in and try and counter.
Is it JD though saying we have to have a different approach because we have to get, or is it more that contradiction again where we're saying we have to have a different approach, but we also have to get something, so maybe we are going to be a bit safe?
Well, it can't come out and say we need to adopt a different approach and then not adopt a different approach. So that when I heard that from you reading it out, it sounds like Gio's perhaps we're going to need to try and get something out of the game. Now, it looks like we went to Anfield and lay there and get our belly rubbed, and we knew we weren't going to get something out of the game. It's one of those harping back to his interview when he said, well, there's a massive gulf here, what do you expect? So now it sounds like I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's got something to try and break them down or try and get a result of some sort, try and score a goal, try and get a fucking shot on target, something. But I know, you know what, I'm not going to go after him anymore because that's 2-4-0 in the league, and that's. See if we went through the rest of the league campaign like this, I don't really care because all I want to do is win the league. That's it. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah, Graham, I mean, is the best thing just to take the positives and maybe stop looking at what Gio says because I don't even think he knows what he's saying half the time.
I suppose it is, but I quite like a manager just to be kind of positive and see if he came out and says, I'd be looking to maybe bring back our Europa League form and start early and just give the fans a wee bit of lift. Even if, like Ross says, if we go out and try and play our game that we think we should be playing every week in the league and we get beat 3-4 off the better team and we tried, we could have scored maybe a couple of goals if goalkeepers made a good save, stuff like that. I would rather see that, and then you're continually playing that game and that brings kind of the patterns of play will be sharper and all that kind of stuff into the league. So that's what I don't know why it would be too much negative because we won 4-0, but again, it's just the press conference. Sometimes I don't even watch them, to be honest.
I think we're getting to a stage now where we were a bit iffy with Gio that we're just going after anything now, Stu. And I think like anything Gio says, what does that mean? You know, what? See if we were winning and see if we were playing well, we wouldn't even be thinking about it.
I think, but I think I go the opposite. I think we are playing well, but what he's doing is changing a winning formula that brings out the best in our players in order to be negative and try and defend for our lives against teams. Like if we go and get at Liverpool on Wednesday night, you'll get chances against them, that's for sure. If you've got Cholak up front, you score 2 goals maybe. If you're sitting back for the full half and prepared to have 10 men in your own half, just lumping the ball up to a striker, then you're not going to have any chances to score. I think that's my issue. As I say, if he plays every game with the same kind of formation and attitude that we've went with against Hearts and against St Mirren, then I will be one happy boy.
Yeah, and Gary here says Montana is like, I don't know if he's watching the wrong pod, Scarface pod maybe for him, but I think a few of the wingers. Go on, JD. What's up?
What did they say? Sharpie put something in there. I think about why not just give him okay. I've said Matona didn't play too well. Right? He's on whatever, right? But why not just give him a full 90 today? Because there's a lot of boys in that squad, a lot of boys in that team that need 90 minutes. So why bring Kent on? I don't get why we even brought him on. If you're dropping him because he's not been playing well, right? That's why. Then do it with a bit of purpose. We didn't need to bring Kent on today. It's not like, shit, Ryan, I dropped you today, but you know what? We're struggling, going to go on and do something for me. We didn't need that. It's almost like, I dropped you, but don't worry, son, on you go and get a wee run out. No, drop him and keep him dropped and get Matondo the 90 minutes. Because maybe Matondo's needing a wee bit start running the team, and maybe he's going to shoot. Because that goes in today, we're talking different, that shot he has. But it just felt like it's like a token gesture to drop Kent and then bring him on one of our first subs.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say as well. See if he had to bring Kent on, why don't take Arfield off and put Kent and maybe try something different for the last 10 minutes? Something different just to see if it works.
But he doesn't, Graham.
Is it because Kent's going to start? Go on, Jenny.
Of course, definitely. And that's what I think. Due to the Gio thing, he's quite rigid. Like it doesn't seem adventurous. He had a chance to put Morelos on with Choak today and didn't do it. So it doesn't seem that adventurous type that he'll try Kent as a 10 or he'll try Kent on the right or something like that. He just doesn't seem. It seems very rigid in his thinking, although he will change it defensively because he'll go to 3 or he'll go to a 5, but going forward, he won't change it.
Yeah, and just what I was about to say there, Ross, is Kent getting minutes today because he's going to start against Liverpool?
I would expect so. I think the only position that should be up for grabs for the Liverpool game is left side of the front three after today. Arfield maybe would miss out just based on getting somebody with fresh legs in there. But Sakara has now got to keep a place in the team.
Surely.
A goal and an assist. I know we talk about numbers. That's the day he's walked off with a goal and an assist in his first proper run out in the league this season. It took us to last week playing against a 10-man Hearts team for Kent to get a goal and an assist. So this is what I'm talking about. Sakara now for me has got to play a consecutive run of games there to try and make a position his own. The next game, if he doesn't score, you can't just go, right, you've not scored, so it's back to whoever. You've got to give him a run.
Yeah. See, the thing is, it wasn't just his goal and assist today, I don't think, by the way. I thought the way he stays pretty wide. He does go inside sometimes, but he stays pretty wide. See, as soon as he goes by that right back one of those times, you can tell the guy's absolutely shit himself thereafter. He gets a goal and he gets an assist, but I thought it was just more than that as well. I thought he played well. He causes problems, and I know he's not polished, but
he did.
In the SPL at home, he'll score goals, by the way, and he'll cause teams like anybody else out with the top 2 problems. I think I thought it was more than his goal and assist today.
Yeah, Graham. I mean, he's caused them problems. You know, he scored. Wow, he created the winner. Let's be fair. It went down as an OG, but in the semi-final. But you know, I've been quick to sort of bash the talk around Sakala in the past about calling him raw at 25 and stuff like that. But there is improvement there. You can't deny that. His touches today were much better. His passing was much better. He wasn't just running the ball out of play, which we see countless times before. He looked like an actual improved player today. Graham.
Yeah, and the thing for me as well is it doesn't see if he maybe has a bad first touch early on. His head doesn't go down. He wants on that ball constantly, and as we've said, his numbers, even if he came in, his numbers are good. So I definitely agree. He should be definitely in the league, and I'd like to see him play against Liverpool, but I've got a funny feeling he probably won't. But definitely in the league, he needs to be playing on that right-hand side for me.
Yep, and Ross, Scott Arfield. That's 2 90 minutes he has lasted in the domestic games, one against Hearts and today against St Mirren. We're having a few people say, as we said at half time, he's a very good impact sub. Bit like, I always like Scott Wright. Scott Wright always lets me down when he starts, but when he comes off the bench, I always think he looks pretty good. Same with Arfield. He can come off the bench, maybe against tired legs, and his late runs really affect the game. But starting, he's just been so far off the pace for me. He obviously had that chance against Hearts, which he could have knocked to Ryan Kent and missed the sitter. Didn't even hit the target. Is it a bit of a worry that he's getting consecutive 90 minutes in the league at the moment?
I think it is. I think it's extremely worrying because let's be honest, they only got the year's extension to be a bit part player this year, and instead he's playing games. I don't think he'll play much once you get your Tom Lawrence's and Alex Lowry's back. I would
Yeah.
hope that they would play in their positions. But when are we getting them back? It's another question. Yeah, am I right in saying Tom Lawrence is after the World Cup now? So you're talking 3 months for
Yep.
Lawrence. Time he gets fit, you're looking at Lawrence missing most of the season.
Can I just, I don't know if the Welsh boys in the comments will be able to tell us that, but so is the news dropped in Wales? Is Tom Lawrence, so he's going to miss the World Cup? Because he's a sure starter for Wales, is he not? Or he's definitely in their squads. So is he not, because they're going to the World Cup, aren't they? So he's not going to the World Cup, or will he be back for the World Cup, go to the World Cup, and
For
come
us,
back
yeah.
after the World Cup?
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't think. Well, we're strangers
Love to
saying
see
not
him
going to
in the
give out
World
that
Cup.
much information, but yeah, it'd be interesting if any of the commenters know anything about that, about Tom Lawrence. But yeah, JD, I mean, what's your thoughts on Arthur there? Because we talked there about Ridvan actually getting some minutes in, bringing King on to get some minutes in because the game's done and dusted. Surely Tillman comes off the bench at that point and gets some minutes in the legs
Yeah.
in his favourite
Yeah.
position.
Yeah, and listen, I don't like bashing Arfield because I think he's been a good player for us, and I think he is a good player. But he's getting, the older he's getting, he seems to be a lot more inconsistent. So Ross nailed it. He should be just a bit part player. But again, is this coming back to the Geo thing? Doesn't he like to take risks? So he'll just stick with what he knows just now. When really, you couldn't have played Charlie McCann instead of Scott Arfield. Well, you could have, because Arfield done nothing. But when you look at Charlie McCann, he's more of a Ryan Jack or a Lundstrom. So he can't come into the team with they two already playing, and they two probably deserve to play before Charlie McCann. But I don't want to see Arfield blocking like the likes of a Charlie McCann getting minutes in these type of games. We all kind of said it. I thought we kind of knew what this game was going to be. We were talking about give Ridvan a start, give players starts. I just don't see why Arfield had to start today. I think Arfield would probably more starting in the European games, the bigger games maybe, and giving the younger guys or boys who need minutes against these types of teams. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just moving on then from Arthur Graham. Just one thing I sort of noticed a few people do, and I think it's sort of instinctive from people to when they talk about Cholak because of how good Cholak has been and the expectation, but he's already set such a high bar. It's important for us not to sort of turn his form and his quality into a bashing Morelos sort of exercise, because I think a lot of people go, "Oh, Joey's so much better than Morelos." Why is Morelos is still a good player? Morelos can still offer us different options as well, and if we do end up playing with both of them, obviously that could be really interesting to see. But Morelos has come on today and he's assisted a goal. That's what you want from a sub, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm one that thinks Morelos could play off Cholak, because there was a period of play today as well that the ball got whipped into him kind of just a wee bit away for the 18-yard, and he whipped it out to Tavernier. And see if he's in a number 10 position, he can do that kind of ball out wide, and then he's going to be running into the box. So I think it could benefit us as well. And especially when home games in the league, I think you could try it to get confidence and goals into the team. I'd like to see it. I don't see why, especially when I was talking about Arfield being a bit part player and playing 2 games now and he's not been really effective. I don't see why we can't try it. But I love Morelos and I always will. So I'd like to see somebody get him into the team. But on form now, you simply cannot drop Cholak.
But also, Ross, I mean, if he's not going to play two up top, the form Cholak's in, it can only drive. Morelos is someone that I think wants to be the best player at the club, and that's going to drive him on, hopefully, to be an even better version of himself.
Not seen any signs of it so far, Stu. Not seeing any signs of it. Listen, I think Morelos is a cracking player. I've said that.
When did you still say that?
I've said it in the past, right? but
55 season.
but Morelos isn't in at his peak fitness. He had 2 weeks there during the international break, and he still looks miles off.
He looks terrible, doesn't he? He looks terrible.
So then the question again comes down to when you go to Anfield last week, why are we starting him? It's this myth that he's a European genius, but I'm not seeing it. I'm no. Listen, the guy, he's not committing his future to Rangers, right? He's not signing a new deal. So I'm now looking toward Cholak's the future. Morelos is, by the end of this season, Morelos is going to be away. So why keep inflating Morelos' wages when you've got a guy there who's banging them in, is at peak physical fitness, and is also starting to adapt to the way we play and creating goals? I don't see why the clamour to get Morelos back in the team. Look, the guy's not going to sign a new deal. If he's got to sign a new deal, he would have signed it by now. He told Van Bronckhorst when he sat down and had a chat with him, he understood his behaviour at Hibs and it wouldn't happen again. Then the very next game at Napoli, he used to get sent off for 2 yellow cards. So he's a rocket. He is a rocket, by the way, and that comes from me. It takes a rocket to know a rocket, and he's a rocket.
No,
but
that's harsh. That's weird.
How's it harsh?
That's weird out of line, Ross.
How's it harsh?
How's it harsh? He's gonna guy a rocket. Come on.
He's half his nut.
No, listen, I get that, but
that's what I mean. A rocket. I'm a rocket because I'm half my nut. You're a rocket.
Would he, as a player, he can give you something. He came in the other game, goal. Now he's come in this time, assist. That's all you can ask for. For me,
100%. 100%. What I'm talking about is you've got a better striker now.
100%.
When you look at his European record as well, mate, I thought it was a wee bit harsh what you said about he's a European type player. The amount of times we've come on, well, maybe not the podcast, but in the past and said he's bullied the whole back four, Portos and all that. So he has got it in his bank.
18 months ago, 12 months ago. I'm talking about the day, mate. That's what I'm talking about. You're doing that thing. You're doing that thing Rangers fans do where they go, big buff and all that. Woo, big buff, battered Porty, slap Scott Brown the head. That's a character, mate. I'm talking about football players on the park the new. And Morelos is no that Morelos. He's nowhere near it. And that's where I talk about the day, mate. I don't talk about Morelos a 12 month ago because that's not who you're dealing with today. If that was the case, fucking Maradona would have been playing into his 70s or whenever he fucking snuffed it. Do you know what I'm talking about? People, you can't judge a player based on how well he played 12 months ago. I'm looking at what I see today, and what I see today, he doesn't look fit. He doesn't look as if he's going to get fit. He doesn't look. He's played. He's set up
he's
a
goal.
He's
had a goal and assist. He's played about 20 minutes.
I'm not saying he has.
In the last 2 games.
I'm not saying he hasn't.
He's scored one and he's had an assist. What more do you want from the guy?
I don't want anything else for him. I'm not. Listen, I'm telling you, I don't think he looks fit. That's all I'm saying. He doesn't look fit.
I'm not asking for Cholak to be dropped for him, but I think we've got to get minutes into him to see if we can get that Morelos back. Because if we can get that Morelos back, that only is a good thing for the club.
See if you get that Morelos back, right, and he signs a deal or whatever, you've got to play the two of them. If Morelos is fit, firing back, and as the Morelos that's slapped Scott around the head and was telling him he can stop greeting, then see that Morelos, he plays, but he needs to. But so does Cholak. So the Rangers in, and we've got issues with wingers. So it's the most natural thing to do. If we had no hand side and no left hand side, Kent gets the fuck. We play 3-5-2. King, Davies, Goldson. Because we need to get King in the team. King needs to play. King, Davies, Goldson. And then you've got Ridvan or Borna and Tav on the right. And then you play Cholak and Morelos up top. And then you've got, there you go, Jack and Lawrence. Listen, there's the team there.
It does seem we are sort of becoming naturally suited to a 3-5-2 with the lack of wide options that we have attacking wise. You know, it would make sense if we've got attacking fullbacks. So, you know, that could absolutely resolve it. We'd obviously need more strikers to back up the two that we have. Anything special from the rabble for Liverpool live pod? There was a plan for a live pod, but once they found out Ross had come back to the rabble, no place would give us dispensation to host it. So there was just no chance it was ever going to happen, unfortunately.
There was no insurance.
Yeah.
Listen, the good city of Glasgow has opened its doors to any sort of rabble live show now that I'm back because they know bringing the punters. Even if it is just to smash my head in.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think of that in Graham 3-5-2? Is that we did try it against Liverpool, but it hardly got us proper run out, did it? Because it was more used to soak up. It was actually more of a 5-4-1, if we're completely honest. But a 3-5-2, I mean, we certainly have the players for it.
Yeah, and Ross said that, I think it was the members pod, that even the 4-4-2 diamond would work as well, because we've got that still gives the space for the wingers, the wing backs, sorry. So that gives you your two up front and Alex Lowry or Lawrence behind them as well. So I think there is options to do the two of them, but I think if I remember right, I think Gio did play 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 quite a bit with Feyenoord. So he has done it in the past, I think. So it's just these are the kind of games you could try it, but obviously he's not went through it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we know with Gio, JD, is he is quite rigid in what he wants from the team, and we've seen him in Europe change it, but domestically it does seem with a few tweaks. But moving back onto the positive, 4-0 today, 4-0 in the last game. We've racked up a few 4-0 victories in the Scottish Premiership this season. Sort of back into being the form team. Can we take that into Liverpool on Wednesday?
It's going to be hard, isn't it? It's going to be hard, but we're getting into it on and off domestic form to be good, certainly at home. So I'm looking forward to it. Of course, I think it's a massive game, but can you get it now? Can we dream of a win? I don't know. I'd be happy with a draw. I'd be happy with just getting something. No, I wouldn't be happy with just a goal for beat. It's never good enough. But we need to take something more positive out of that game. Even if it's the old gallant defeat where we score first and they beat us 2-1 or something, we need to have a better performance for first and foremost. But I would love us to get a point. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and I just wanted to bring this up, Ross. If anyone doesn't, I mean, this is obviously it's rumbling on. We've got a World Cup soon, so I'm sure. Morelos is going to be sitting at home. Kent's going to be sitting at home. So I imagine at this point is where we're really going to try and sit them down and try and get them to sign new deals. But do you think this is what we should be doing? Should we be moving them on in January if they're not going to sign it and just take the small fee that we might get for them? Or, you're contracted, we'll have you to the end of the season and then we're just thanks very much down the road.
First of all, on that comment that came up there, Stu, I just called myself a rocket. I told you it takes a rocket to know a rocket. You can't call me a rocket when I've already called myself a rocket. But anyway, with Kent and Morelos, their agents are in contact with clubs they know, right? I know that's big bad tapping up and all that, right? But that's happening. I know it's happening. You know it's happening. Everybody knows it's happening. So Morelos knows what clubs are interested in him, what clubs are telling him to hold off. Morelos knows what kind of wages the clubs are going to give him. Morelos knows what kind of signing on fee he's looking at. And I wouldn't want us if there's an English Championship team or a French Premier team that are willing to offer him 50-60 grand a week. I wouldn't give him that. So that's why I think the two of them will leave. I think Kent would be looking for a wage rise up to probably 35 grand a week, something like that. When he's probably on 25-30 the new, so he's going to say, if I'm signing a 4-year deal with you, given the best years, my prime years to the team, he's going to be looking for the financial security that brings, and it's going to be more than he's on the new. And I don't think any of the two of them are worth more than we're paying them the new. I think the two of them have passed their peak in a Rangers jersey.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think as well. How does that conversation go? Like, see if you're a guy like Cholak, right? And see at the end of the season, he's chatting the door and saying, "Here, look at last year. Look at my season. I'm going to bump me up. No bother." What does Kent have in his locker right now to go and show somebody? A couple of nice games in Europe, a Dortmund game, and then he's happened back to 55. So what does he actually got to say that he can demand that? Only other than, well, if you don't give me that, I'm going to go because Bournemouth will give me 50 grand.
I think that's it, mate.
See you later, mate. Good on you. See you later.
I think that's it. I think that'll be it. All right, well, this is Gerrard's offering me 45 grand a week at Villa, plus a £3 million signing on fee in my hand, so what can you offer? That's what will happen. That's what will come.
What
Morelos
worries
as well.
what worries me is if it comes down to what gets closer and closer at the end of the season, and there's no teams wanting them, and then we just give them a contract. Because to me, that's what I think we've done with Goldson. I think that's why he signed at the end of the season. Because I think he was waiting for a team to come in, and then there was nobody, so we just gave him the contract.
But that's what I said.
That worries
I
me.
said that midweek, Graham. I think it's been a really bad thing for Rangers now. It's no bad that we got Golson because Golson's solid and he's decent. He's maybe not played as well this season, but he's coming into form. So to get him back signed is brilliant. But that could have set a really dangerous precedent for us. Really dangerous now that Morelos and Kent will have a contract from Rangers on the table, and they will just say, "I'm not signing that," and I'll tell you at the end of the season. We cannot operate like that as a club.
No.
We can't, because you're getting held to ransom, aren't you?
Yeah. Sorry, my second screen's just turned off, so I just want to make sure I'm still online. I haven't had a power cut.
Unfortunately,
You're
yeah.
still moving, so you must be all right. I mean, on Goldson, I don't think, by the way, from what I understand, he took the original contract. From what I understand, is he wanted a bigger wage. He thought he deserved a bigger wage for the type of player he was at the club. He was one of the key players, and I believe he got somewhere near that wage. As obviously his contract ticked down, I think there were a few offers, but we did eventually increase it for him. There was one that I wanted to bring up, but I completely lost it, so I do apologise for that. Ross, your favourite player, Kemar Roof, is he going to be back for Liverpool?
No. Mate, I don't know when he's going to be back. I just don't understand that. As JD said a few times, it's all these games he's trying to play on social media. That was like literally, we're now talking 8 weeks ago, he was loading, and then he was even last week, is that my kit going in the kit bag? And then the other day's on Instagram, I can't wait to feel that match day feeling again. Where are you? Where? He will not be on a wee wage, by the way. He'll be on a decent wage.
Yeah,
He'll be one of the top earners.
Yeah,
100%.
And I'll tell you what, see if he comes back and the next time there's a Jamaica squad he decides to travel, I would just sack him on the spot, man. He should be playing his little games and resting as much as he can. And by the way, I probably say the same about Ryan Jack at this point. I know
Stephen Davis as well.
I know he's only 30, Ryan Jack, or 31, whatever he is. With his injury concerns, he should be starting to manage. We are managing his game time, and yet he's gone and playing for Scotland. The last couple of times before that time there, he's came back for Scotland with a knee injury because we manage his training and they don't. He takes part in general training there. So there's got to be times when you ask the question of why are these players... Like, am I right in saying Roof only started playing for Jamaica a couple of years ago when he came to us?
He's only got about 7 caps, yeah.
So that to me, right, mate, aye, good, you're an international player, class, you've got a quiff now, but going to just not go down and play your job.
See, the thing is, I'm sure it's Jack's contract up at the end of this season. That might be something the Rangers say to him. Your contract, there's another year, there's maybe 2 years, but that comes with you retiring.
It was the same with Stephen Davis as well. We should have been saying to him as well this year, look, you broke the record, congratulations on that, but if you're signing another contract, we need you for quite a lot of games.
Do they though, Graham? Do they? I don't know. I think such a legend, you wouldn't do that. I don't think you would say that.
With Stephen Davis as well, he's a very fit player. He doesn't get the little niggles. Whereas Roof and Jack, we're paying them wages. They're going away and coming back injured. And Jack, I mean, it's 2 or 3 times he's come back from international duty injured. That's not good enough for someone that's got those problems. We're paying his wage every single week. We need him fit and ready to go. We can't have him missing huge chunks of the game because, like Roof, it takes time to get back to fitness. Just being back in the team isn't enough. It takes time to get back up to it.
Can I just say as well on that, Stu? Ryan Jack again proved the day when he went off. When he went off, we lost all shape.
Yeah.
Ryan Jack is essential for our midfield. He lets other people play well run about him because they've got confidence in him to cover the grass behind him. So, mate, I can't believe he never played last week at Liverpool. And if the reason for that is he'd played for Scotland midweek, then us on the Saturday and couldn't play midweek again, then that becomes an issue for me, because if he's only playing 3 games a week, but he's playing one for Scotland, one for Rangers, and we need to go to Anfield without him, that doesn't fit my agenda, to be honest.
Yeah, JD is a fit Roos to have a stroke now. Listen, we've had Cholak for 15 games or whatever it is, right? We don't know. He could go out of form. He could go on a long run. We've raved about Roof's scoring record and how good of a finisher he actually is. Is there maybe something in there? A fit Roof?
No, absolutely not. Cholak's shown how good a striker he is. That Roof's never coming back and even thinking or daring to get into that position. So I don't actually know what we're doing with Roof loading. Get him loaded and then get him away in January. That's what I'd be doing with Roof, because he's on a big wedge. Somebody in the Championship will take him. You get a couple of million for him, and then he can go. So, because he's not going to play through the middle before Morelos or Cholak. So, and is he were answering to the right hand side, perhaps? Because we were right. He did play a lot in the couple of seasons ago there, but you're getting back 24. You're getting back 2 years now for that. So, nah.
The only thing a fit Roof makes is he's only 2 weeks away from a new injury. That's the way his forms out.
Yeah, so
Roof as well. We've always said this. It takes him 3 or 4 weeks to get up to speed. Yeah. That's 3 or 4 weeks playing games. He's not going to be playing games. So when he's going to get wee cameos here or there, how long is it going to take him to be fit and firing? Because he'll be getting 10, 15 minutes if he's lucky, I think.
Yeah, and Ross, just sort of finishing. I'll get you to answer this. Roof will never play for Rangers again. Do you think that's likely, or do you think he is going to be used because we're actually quite light on strikers when he comes back?
I think he'll be utilised, mate. I think he'll play games this season. By the way, I think he'll probably score double-figure goals this season.
Probably.
Because when he plays, he scores. But again, you've got Morelos who does that bit outside the box. Roof's your kind of penalty box poacher. Cholak does all that. Cholak does it all. He's the combined. I don't. So if Cholak's playing, it depends what sort of game you're in. If you're out of the Tapia team, you might put Roof on because any other chance you get, you got to score. But if you're playing in Europe and Cholak's injured, Morelos is going to start. So as JD says, Roof's not going to get a lot of game time, I don't think, because I think he's comfortably the third striker in terms of all-round game, even though he's probably the second best finisher.
We've amended it now to Roof won't start again for Rangers, which may be a bit more accurate. But I think we will leave it there, guys. Positive result, 4-0, another 4-0, back-to-back 4-0s. 2 points off the lead. Could have been top today if it wasn't for some jammy last-minute goals. But we move on. We as long as we keep playing like this, we'll be back there in no time. So all I've got to do left is thank Ross, JD, and Graham. Thanks for joining me, boys.
Cheers.
We will be back tomorrow for the members only show. And then we've got a Monday phone in as well. So there's plenty going on. So please come back and we will see you then. Thank you very much.